I am at Onyx Way, and there are multiple trees that have been downed. Here is one right here, clean up out of the ground. The Washoe County Medical Examiner's Office is now working to identify the body as we speak, and we're hoping to have an update in just the next few hours. The reason this fire is burning so hot and taking up so much space is because it's in really difficult terrain. As you can see around me, there is a lot of sagebrush. There's a lot of dry, dead fodder for fires like these. I spoke to a few voters tonight about why they felt it was so important to come out and vote. How many inches of snow we're seeing right here. So let me put my handy dandy yardstick. And lastly, you want to make sure you have enough wiper fluid in your car. You don't want to be driving on the roads with the brine and the snow coming up on your windshield and not able to clear it. This is covering most of my boot if we look right here. So I'd say that's about just 6 or 7 inches of snow. You're going to go online and you're going to check nvroads.com, and that is going to tell you what the road conditions are and if you need chains, if there are road closures. The snow is amazing, Denise. I went up here and I must admit I did a few runs myself. I mean, these ribs are fantastic. They're huge, they smell great, and I mean, everyone is having such a fun time here at the Rib Cook-Off. And I'm here with Philip Hyatt with Carson City Barbecue, and tell me, what is it like to be here today? Oh my God. Jill Biden visiting Carson City and Reno today, urging voters to cast their ballot for Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. Police are investigating a stabbing that left one man hospitalized. The stabbing happened yesterday afternoon around 2:40 p.m. What a night at Chris Ault Field. Nevada football wrapped up one of its most complete efforts of the season in the win over Oregon State. Northern California, even parts of the Sierra, might get some snow. It's going to be flurries. It's probably not going to leave too much, but we get a little bit. Don't get too excited out there, people who want to be skiing like me. Well, you can see that there's a system building out in the Pacific, and then it kind of dissipates by Monday, goes away. Well, now it's coming back. There's another system that is going to be moving in that cloud cover. Local workers are still here striking as we speak, and encouraging General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis to change the way they are treating their employees, as many say that with the inflation that they are facing, they're living paycheck to paycheck, and they worry for their retirement.
Power! Union power! Who's got the power? We got the power! What kind of power? Union.
If we have to strike more, close more, then we'll do that.
To get, better wages, job security, KOLO, healthcare after retirement, look after our retirees, and just send a foundation for us to be, in this position that we are now.
Local workers stepped out of work to go on strike against the big 3 car companies to try to persuade them to give higher pay, improved benefits, and better working conditions. Workers say that with inflation, they have not seen pay increases to keep up, and their families are struggling.
I would say most of these employees probably live paycheck to paycheck.
We all know that we're not getting paid enough, especially with inflation the last couple of years. People are struggling. So
I've had grown men crying in my office that don't know how they're going to provide for their families. It's very difficult, and I know it's business to them, but it's personal to us.
But even through the hardship, workers want to remind the companies and the community that they are still in it for the long haul.
We're still proud GM workers, and we're proud union, as well. And, we just want to make sure that we get our fair share. We want to live comfortable. We want to have the American dream. And, just do what's right. That's all we ask.
And nationally, it's not just United Auto Workers that are striking.
I think it's all over the labor market. We're seeing stirrings of this kind.
Doing it for the American worker is not just for us, it's for everyone that's out there that's a blue collar labor. We're doing it for everybody, and if anybody wants to come out here and support, we welcome everybody.
At the end of the day, workers say that they rather be working than striking, but they are determined to receive the pay and benefits they need.
I'd like to see us get back to work so those other suppliers get back to work and uplift this economy.
From what we know, according to our partners at CNN and the Associated Press, Ford was avoiding some strikes today because they've agreed to terms that the strikers have been asking for this week. But Stellantis and GM both have boosted as well. GM said it boosted its offer to a 20% wage increase, which Ford has also offered, and Stellantis offered cumulative raises of nearly 21% in hourly wages. Instead, Emily Benito, KOLO 8 News Now. This isn't the first time that residents have had to evacuate. First, People had to flee from flames and smoke because of the Davis fire just 2 months ago. And earlier this week, one woman had to flee her home due to the fire from the Callahan fire, and she had to leave her precious companions at home. First, she saw smoke.
It came over the back fence in seconds. We had to even leave without the horses.
Then, she saw fire.
This one was the worst so far since I've been here 22 years.
Evacuee Pat Kelly says the one thing that kept running through her mind, she had to save her horses. But the billowing smoke was too thick for her to see.
Tried to get him in the trailer for like 20 minutes, but I basically couldn't see him. The smoke was so thick. And the firemen were having a heart attack saying, "Out, now."
Kelly says first responders were able to get the horses to safety. But one of her horses was injured in the fire. And the other, who we see here, is still on high alert for danger.
He's just really, really nervous today and stiff and lame from running around. So
Kelly says that now the work begins to pick up the pieces.
they have damage to their house. These people, the next door neighbors, are out of town. There's nothing you can do. Now I'm all parked in the driveway, hooked up, faced out, halters in the trailer, purse in the trailer.
But that what she really wants to see is the city of Reno creating new evacuation plans for their area.
The last fire, when it came over Galena High School area, it was total blackout flames, embers, and we're stuck. They're going to keep building up here. Perhaps they should add a lane to Mount Rose, because the last time I left, I spent 45 minutes on that road getting to Virginia with 2 horses. So they need to address the evacuation if they're going to keep building up here.
Truckee Meadows Fire and Rescue says that the Callahan fire burned 1 home, 2 barns, and a gazebo. We will update you as we learn more about the Callahan fire and any details relating to the incident. Reporting live at the Callahan fire burn area, Emily Benito, KOLO 8 News Now. The Han, Growler, and Latte might seem like just another group of furry friends, but they have an important job.
We're here to help those who have served our nation and community and are dealing with trauma. There's something about the outside of a horse which is magical for the inside of a human.
The first phase of the program is groundwork, and that's where participants learn to regulate their emotions to then be able to communicate with horses here like Latte, because the horses can feel everything you're feeling.
So they learn everything from grooming to leading, and then working through obstacle courses. We get them in a round pen, which is a ton of fun and super rewarding.
The second phase of the program is where participants learn to ride, where they take the trust and the confidence that they built during the groundwork session and bring it into the saddle.
If they're worked up, the horse will react to it. They'll give them a stink eye or something like that, and the individual has to bring themselves down. So it's all about regulating emotions if they want to stay and work and partner with the horse.
Kay and Scott Hooper have experienced the healing power of working with horses themselves.
Kay and I have a combined 49 years of active duty Army service, 7 combat tours between the 2 of us. So we understand trauma. When we moved to Reno in 2020, we got our first horse.
And that is when the magic started.
A lot of things that I had compartmentalized since the early 90s, actually all the way to, back overseas, started to percolate. Walking with that horse and getting help changed my life.
That's when Kay started to wonder how horses help to heal traumas, and she started her research, which is how Horsemanship for Heroes got its start.
But over 85% of our graduates stay on as volunteers, and that it helps them. It helps the people they're helping, because we work in a small team. There's 1 horse, 1 hero, and a volunteer, and they stay together for that whole time. And having somebody that's been through it, that knows trauma, that gets it, it makes such a huge difference.
There are a few open spots to participate in the program coming up in March. Those interested can contact Kay and Scott on their website, horsemanshipforheroes.org. In Reno, Emily Benito, KOLO 8 News Now.